What is the root of all this fear? See, most of us are inclined to trim the branches of fear. Right? I'm afraid of this thing, therefore let me get rid of it. Or let me go to somebody who will help me to be free of fear, of that particular expression of fear. The psychologists, the priests, the analysts, the latest gurus and all the business. But we're not concerned with the trimming of the tree of fear, but rather to uncover the root of fear. So that when you see the root of it and have depth of understanding of the root, then if you have such an understanding and such an insight, then fear disappears completely. All, you're no longer afraid psychologically. Physically is a different matter. Physically, one must be careful. One must be rational, sane. Unless you're extraordinarily neurotic, then that's a different matter. But physically, one must be watchful of danger, as you will be watchful of a precipice, as you will be watchful of a dangerous animal. And perhaps human beings are becoming more and more dangerous than any animal. So one has to be watchful of human beings, the terrorists, the politicians. Are there any politicians here? And very watchful of gurus. And so on and on and on. So, one understands the watchfulness, the danger, physical. But what is the root of psychological fear? Please challenge, ask yourself. Don't accept my challenge. Ask yourself, what is the root of all? Don't say, I don't know, and just leave it like that. Or draw some conclusion. If you do, it'll prevent you from finding out the root of it. If you say, I really don't know, right, what the root of the fear is, then you start with humility. Then you say, I really don't know, but I'm going to find out. But if you start with the arrogance of saying, I can solve it, I know, I have all the facts about fear, then you are starting with a conclusion, with a sense of hope, which doesn't mean you must be in despair to ask it. But if you are really deeply concerned with the nature and the structure of fear at its very depth, what is the root of fear? Those of you who have read or heard the speaker before, don't say, yes, I know it. That's a cheap trick. Because you have heard somebody tell you that. And that may be the truth, but it's not the truth. It's somebody else's. There is no your truth or my truth. But if you accept a statement made by somebody like this person and say, yes, I've heard that before, but it hasn't got rid of my fear, then you are living, then language is driving you. You understand? Language is driving you. Language is using you. But if you are free of what you have heard before, but actually demand now as you are sitting there to find out what's the essence, the root, the basis of all fear. Then, as you don't know, you come to it afresh. You come to it with a certain sense of curiosity to find out. But if you come to it already with some conclusion, well, there is no possibility of your understanding the root of it. So let's find out together, afresh, what's the root of this whole nature and the structure of fear. When you want to find out, if you have a motive, that is, I must be free of fear, which is a motive, then that motive gives a direction to your inquiry. So, the motive which gives a direction prevents you from inquiring. This is simple, isn't it? If I have a motive in order to inquire into fear, because I want to get rid of fear, then I've already given a direction to it, right? Because my desire is to get rid of it, not to understand the nature and the structure and the depth of fear. I only want to get rid of the word fear. So the word fear is driving us. You understand? Whereas if you look at it, if you are free of the word and say, what is this fear which I have lived with for so long? What is it? Is it time? Time being yesterday, today and tomorrow. Sun setting, sun rising. Which is fear the result of time? Something happened which was fearful a year ago or yesterday, and that fear of that incident remains. And the memory of that fear, of that thing, is called fear. You're following all this? The memory of that incident which took place here or yesterday has left a certain remembrance, and that remembrance says there is fear. Right? So, recollection of a word called fear, we say that is fear. Whereas we're trying to find out, being free of the word, what is the essence of it? Are you following all this? Is it getting too tiresome, all this? Okay. What's the root of it? I say to myself, because I'm a very serious person, and I've got plenty of energy, I must find it out. But I don't want to live with fear. It's too absurd, too illogical, irrational. What is the essence of it? Is it time?